You're watching Chillmonger. It's day 7 of the Jonathan Majors trial. I'm joined by Onzo. His YouTube channel is called Biggaford Entertainment. Subscribe to him. Subscribe
Yes,
to
sir.
Blues House, also there, Bluminati.
Yes, indeed. Blues
And
House.
subscribe to Pam Entertainment TV because she just wrote a comment right now. First comment gets a free subscription. A free subscription shout out. I'm here talking about my man Jay, Jonathan Majors. Today it was evidence versus perjury. It was having her talk for what 3 hours of her in the club turned into a full day at the courtroom. And I think that there's some strategy there where Priya Chaudhry, Jonathan's defense attorney, Chaudhry is trying to make you guys feel just how long she was down there dancing, drinking, and talking about exactly what she was drinking, contesting what's going on Cloud 11, and contesting some of the lies and asking her to clarify this. What did you say about that? And I think it's good. It's good. Make us feel like we were in the club too. Like, man, this woman won't shut up. She just keeps on talking.
Absolutely, 100%. And I think she contradicts herself a lot too, man. You know what I mean? So I'm at the time where I'm like, we gotta see what's going on here, guys. You gotta see what's going on here. It's slander, 100%.
100, 1000% is slander. It's just crazy. The crazy thing, this baffles me that we even got to this point.
Facts.
That's what's crazy.
Facts.
Davis, what's going on, Anzo?
What up, DQ?
Yeah, it is pretty slanderous, and it's crazy that it got to this point. But today, yesterday, and the day before, the 3 days where the witness is actually the accuser, false accuser, I should say. I don't even got to say allegedly. No, you guys can keep my name. Keep that on record. Chillmonger said it's the alleged false. It's the false accuser, where what she accuses never actually happened in the backseat of that car. She's an important witness because what she admits to, I took his phone first. I was the one I hit him in the back of the car. She admits to chasing after him. And while she may say her intentions were this and that, that's up to the jury to believe. But Jonathan really doesn't need to take the stand at all. Do you guys believe he should? He shouldn't? What do you guys believe?
Oof. I don't think he has to. I really don't. I mean, but if he feels like he wants to get his side of the story out, then he can. But at this point, when you listen to what she's saying, it's like he don't need to go on the stand. She's killing her own arguments. Killing them all.
Yeah, I would. Only thing I would say is if the jury looks like they're starting, to side with her or something like that, maybe he can go in there and tell his side of the story. But right now, she sounds so discombobulated. And I think that's another tactic too, showing just how unreliable she is as a person. You know what I mean? Like the drinking ain't even, that's just half of it. It's so much, she's all over the place. You know what I mean? So
absolutely. And she said something in the trial that had me like, okay, so at first she says when they came in, she was kind of subtly trying to ask the police for help, right? But later on, she says, oh, no, I didn't want to get him in trouble. Which
all
one is it?
Bro.
You know what I mean?
She didn't even call the police. Remember that, right? She didn't call any of them. When the police, when you call for a self, what do you call it? A suicide or attempted suicide. Do the police have to show up to investigate? Is that a rule?
Yes, they do.
Yeah. Police are showing up for that.
Yeah, they do.
So I shouldn't be mad at the 911 operator anymore?
No, the police do show up. They come with the police and the ambulance, and everybody comes at the same time. Yeah.
Now, what she's saying is that, like, listen, I wanted to break up with this guy over and over again. She also said earlier in the night that's when she gained her independence and she knew she was over with him, but she returned to his home, which was crazy because she's over here saying, listen, I wanted to return. I wanted to go anywhere, but the worst thing I could be is alone inside of that suite all by myself. That is exactly where you went 3 hours after you went to the club. So if that was the reason why you got to the club, you think we weren't going to remember? You were going to say that, but you still went home. You found a cab and went home.
Absolutely. And the thing with me, right, is so they said they met on Ant-Man, which was in 2001. How long was their relationship, right? It wasn't more than, let's say, 6 months. And I'm giving 6 months a long time. If you really wanted to leave the man, you could have left him. It's not like you had this 5-year relationship where you're madly in love with the man and everything like that. If you wanted to go, if you seen the type of character he was, then you should have bounced if you wanted to go. and she didn't.
Exactly. They played this on repeat, where she's banging her head. There, boom. Well, they didn't play it on repeat, but I'm gonna play it on repeat because I'm not done watching her bang her head
Like,
on the.
what was that? Like,
And she said she didn't. She said she did not hit her head.
Wow.
I might have it. I might have the slide open. It's on one of my tabs because I keep bare tabs open. Is it this one? In other clips of the footage, Chaudhry claimed Stephanie can be seen hitting her head, which was also allegedly injured in the altercation with Jonathan on the DJ roof. Steph disagreed. Stephanie McMahon Helmsley looked straight in the eye of the jury and said, "I disagree. I did not." That's what she said.
She did a lot of stuff like that. Reading through some of the stuff that I seen on Twitter. Salute to, I think his name was Jimmy. It was coming from Cat, and wasn't it Jimmy? And that who Cat was getting the information from?
I don't watch Cat. I'm playing with you guys. Everyone's supposed to go subscribe to Cat's YouTube channel. Her name is Miss Marco Polo on Twitter, and she's actually the one who tweeted this that I shared right here. That's where I got her from because she's very informative.
But it seems like she was trying to be spicy this go around. You know what I'm saying? Like she came in, and what got me, and we could be going ahead, but it was a lot more crying this time. She started crying over the video that she had already watched. Like, oh, why do we have to watch that? I can't, like we just watched this video yesterday. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
You weren't prepared? You didn't know this was going to come up in court?
What are you talking about? Why are you crying now?
That's what I'm saying. That's what gets me, right? Because we see all these videos of after the incident, and she ain't crying. She's laughing and having fun. But all of a sudden on the stand, you want to start crying now? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing here? Get out of here.
Mark, you're a defense attorney. What's going on?
What's up?
Give me 1 second. Okay.
I was gonna ask him about over crying and if that could be that could make you look bad. Is there I thought that 1 second would be over and he'd start answering. I want to hear from Priya, the former manager. But did you hear what I asked about crying? Is there an acceptable? Yeah, we hear you. Is there maybe there's a lag, but we'll just stop talking and let you go so that we're not, the lag doesn't kill us. She cried a lot, left, got up and ran away, came back. While the police body camera footage was playing, you could hear her sobbing, which I guess was interfering with the jury trying to hear stuff. Is there a such thing as strategic crying from a defense, from a witness who's claiming, hey, I was abused?
Okay, so the question that I have is, was the crying at the time of the alleged incident or when she was testifying?
I'm asking about while she's testifying. She's watching videos like that they've prepared, that we know, that I've even been in the media, of her tying her hair back and stuff, and here's another one where she bangs her head on the DJ booth. While these are playing, while the police body camera footage is playing, which is returning her to this moment here where she's half naked from the waist down, she says. When that happens and she's watching the video over, I don't want to see it anymore. Please don't play it. And then she runs up and leaves. She cries. Is that too much? Can the jury be tainted by that negatively?
I would say it depends on what the situation is, as far as where the person is crying, what's being played or asked, or whatever the case may be, because juries are not necessarily stupid individuals, right? They're a collection of us as citizens who have our own experiences. And a lot of times juries can see through the nonsense. Now, again, I haven't watched any of this particular trial, so I don't know specifically when or where, what she was crying about. But, if it's like, okay, lady, come on, why are you crying that much about this particular situation? It could very well turn a jury off, like, okay, I don't believe you would be or should be that emotional in that particular situation.
That's what I believe happened. That's how I perceive it. But again, that's my opinion. Plus, you weren't really following. You're still valued.
I haven't been following this trial at all, I can say. Just your videos and things of that nature. That reminds me, There is a young lady who you interviewed a day or so ago, who I believe is a
Paralegal.
paralegal. hmm I
Danny.
had a specific question because I do know that there was one question or a series of questions that was asked of the alleged victim, where supposedly they were playing audio of Jonathan Majors trying to get her to be like Coretta Scott King or something like that. And I'm wondering, at the time that this question was asked, was there an objection in court, which I would imagine there would be, and what was the basis of the objection, and how did that come in? Because when I saw that on the tweet and the video that I watched from you guys, my first thought was, what is the relevance of this in relation to what he's charged with?
Well, they used it. The defense used it to say in that audio clip, Jonathan Majors is telling her about her drinking issue and how she needs to be a supporter for what he's doing. He's on a journey for greatness. I'm a great man. So for all I know, the defense used that evidence, submitted the evidence, and said this is going to prove that she got a drinking issue. But they were like, if we only play the part about the Coretta Scott King, Michelle Obama, then it'll make him sound like he's imposing be like
Controlling.
another person. But let's be realistic, everybody. We need. What if I said, "Yo, Anzo, right now, you need to be like Superman." You wouldn't think any type of way about that, right? It's like when someone
Exactly.
is white, it's deracialized. It's not important. But Michelle Obama, Coretta Scott King, I'm watching media of melanated radio hosts, and everyone's talking about how that's a ridiculous ask. Why would he use that? I'm just
Yeah.
saying, what's going on here? All
That's-
of us are black, right? Blue, right? Blue.
Yeah, I saw the same thing. I was like, why are y'all so fixated on that? You know, and they're reporting it wrong. Like you just reporting, you know, the seventh, eighth man saying something. You didn't even go to the source and try to figure out what was the context behind that. That's what I didn't like from especially from black media. You know what I'm saying? Like it was more so a joke. You know what I'm saying? Let's make this a joke instead of
Right,
trying to
because
get down to the nitty-gritty of it.
absolutely, because they're like, why would he say this to a white woman, right? But what you got to understand is what he meant by that context. He wants a woman that is, respectable and looks good on his arm and doesn't do anything like going out drinking and partying every weekend and then bringing strangers to his house. When he comes home, there's a bunch of strangers there. That's not
Right.
what he's looking for. You know what I mean? It's not, people are taking, oh, well, why would you say those characters? Well, because he's a black man and he has those women in high demand. So he's trying to say she needs to be more like that, respectable.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the defense who played that clip,
No.
not
No, the
the
prosecution played it.
But when the defense played it later, they played it with the full context and explained this is her drinking issue. But I'm just saying, bringing up that if he said you got to be the lowest to my Clark, there would be no problems or anything like that.
Right.
This is a character named Black Panther, and actually, a couple of Saturdays ago, myself, Blue, ATL Blurred Mark, we all talked about this comic book. We all love this guy, and we loved and we celebrated during the Black Panther movie how it transcended race. And I know that's a problematic thing to say, but we never thought about him. There were white kids dressing Halloween costumes as the Black Panther and didn't think anything of it. And that's fine. It's okay for people who look like the way that this guy looks, being worthy enough of being examples.
Right. To take the value of that person without it being race.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I meant by transcends race. I know people are going to get at me for that one, but you guys all know what I mean.
Absolutely.
Let's share some more things that were said in court. I got this one next. At another point, the defense lawyer asked Steph if she had scratches on her face the night of the alleged attack. And Stephanie McMahon responded that she did not think so, which is not a yes and not a no. These are trained answers. That, actually, guys, I don't know if I said this before, but her sister is an attorney. Her parents are attorneys. She's been trained.
Facts.
So,
Well, let me just say this, as I don't know, I've actually tried cases, I've prosecuted cases. And whenever you're preparing a case for trial, you prepare your witness to expect certain questions and what is the best way to respond that coincides with previous statements and the evidence. So, without necessarily knowing her background, like at all, like, Chill's giving me information. I had no idea about that, but I only want to mention that because it's not uncommon it's standard operating procedure to go over testimony with your witness. And I don't want to want anyone to think that that's untoward, that that's something that's unique to this particular case, because that happens in all cases that are going to trial, be you a defense or prosecution attorney.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You got to be able to expect what questions are going to be asked and how to answer them. And they train you to do that before you touch the stand. And they have a example of the type of questions that you're going to get asked and how you should respond to them. So yeah, 100%.
Now, can you compel a witness to answer yes or no?
You can, yes. When you have somebody on cross-examination, yes, but then that person will have the opportunity to elaborate on what the yes or no was.
Okay. The reason I'm asking, I watched I was real heavy watching the Johnny Depp trial, the Amber Heard version, and Johnny Depp's lawyer, when asking the questions, was always saying, no, I just need a yes or no question. And then if the person kept talking, she would object and tell the judge, hey, I just wanted a yes or no question. Okay, I just wanted to clear that up.
When you're on cross-examination, you don't want to ask a question that you don't know what the answer will be. You want to control the witness by the questions that you ask. Isn't it true that you did blah, blah, blah? Yes. Or, you don't want to ask them, did you do X, Y, and Z? You want to guide them to get the evidence that you want. One of the things that I do when I'm trying cases, I don't need to question a witness for 30 days, for 30 hours, okay? Questioning a witness for me is what I need to get to argue on closing arguments. That's all I need. As I mentioned to Chill a couple of days ago, when we were talking about this case, I relayed a story about a trial that I had earlier this year. That was a domestic violence trial. My client was accused of assaulting his then girlfriend. And so I had her on cross-examination, maybe 15 minutes. I don't need a lot, because the longer you have them on the stand, the more things that can go wrong, as far as you mistakenly asking them a question that makes your client look bad or your case look bad. I only needed answers that I could argue on closing examination. For example, in the case that I'm talking about, the alleged victim pulled a knife on my client before he was arrested, weeks before. And on cross-examination, she said, no, I didn't have no knife. And a whole bunch of other things that she said that I ended up proving were not true, which I could argue during closing statements or closing arguments. I said, she said this on cross-examination, but this witness said blah, blah, blah. So that means that you can't believe what she told you. And as I said, when I talked to Chill a couple of days ago, my client was acquitted of the serious charges.
So like job. This is really relevant. This part here about she would not know about the scratches if she had washed her face, as she testified on Wednesday. And that led to a back and forth about cleansing regimens. Steph confirmed that she washed her face with makeup remover, then clarified, no, it was facial wash and water. And then Chowdhury probed further. You just said makeup remover and now face wash. Chowdhury pressed, prompting Stephanie McMahon to explain that face wash removes makeup. That's going to be used in the closing argument the same way you used what you used about the knife?
Yes, but to be quite frank with you, to me at least, that seems like something minor. You can make a mistake between face wash versus soap and water. I understand what the lawyer, based on that snippet, I understand what the lawyer is getting at. But, that's just a minor inconsistency, the way I look at things. But again, I understand where she's going, because any inconsistencies by the witness you can use against them.
What about all the damn crying Stephanie's doing? I'm getting pissed just hearing about it. Annoying. I love how everyone just adapted to the Stephanie. Yeah, that's right. Yes, it's Stephanie from WWE. That's the same one, David. She pedigreed Brie Bella. That one. Where's she been
And
in
you-
WWE? Sorry, Anzo. Bring it back on track, Anzo.
It's okay. I was gonna say this, right? Because she says she don't like the cut on her ear. I think she said she watched it off. Then she said she don't remember, right? All of this stuff happened before she got drunk and started drinking. Now I've been drunk. You remember what happens before. You may not remember what happened after you're drunk, right? But you'll remember that you had a fight. You'll remember that he hurt your finger. You'll remember how that happened. And she woke up and told the cops she don't remember. You know what I mean? So it's like pure contradictions with the stuff that she says.
While watching the video, yeah.
No, I was just going to say, unless she has a significant drinking problem and blacks out and has amnesia, then that leads to a whole other host of issues. Because if she has a drinking problem and can't remember, how then can you rely on her testimony on how things supposedly happened?
I think that's what Priya Chaudhry is trying to get to, right, and establish. That's what I think is happening.
That's why every single drink that was taken on camera at the club was explained. Hey, what's that? Is it a tequila? Is it a champagne? Tell us what that one is. What's that one there? And she knows she can't lie because there's credit card
receipts.
Well, no, wait. With the receipt, just say the grand total, or would it say every single drink bought?
Every single transaction.
Every single drink. Yeah, it's the transaction. You'll see the drinks on the receipt.
And they know that this drink costs $10.98. That drink costs. Yes. So she really can't lie. She really has to be honest about each drink that she took.
One crazy story. Then she can be impeached on that.
Right. Yeah. One crazy story, or that was brought up was before everything happened, when they were out to eat, I guess, at whatever the restaurant was. And he went to go use the restroom. She got up to go peek to see where he was at, so she can go and chug the drink that she had, and I guess she ordered another one. Is that what is? Because I didn't get the other tweet that.
So they asked her, "Did you do that when he was gone and he's taking a piss?" I was like, "Do I swear yet?" No, I don't. Whatever, we're swearing. Domestic violence, assault, rape. We can say everything. I don't really care. I'm not really worried about YouTube and that right now. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
So when he's taking a piss, she drinks, and they asked her, "Did you do it or not?" And she said, "I don't remember." Which is bullshit. Like, you either remember doing it or you didn't do it, because you're here trying to make yourself look good. What? No, I didn't do that. What are you guys talking about? He went to the drink and I stunk in another glass and then I hit it. What are you talking about? They're supposed to say no, shoot that shit down. But I just don't remember. Perhaps the exact word, actually, the quote was perhaps. And now
that's a smart answer, because they can't. The opposing counsel can't force you into an answer if you say you don't remember, right? They just can't. So it's somewhat of an open-ended response that they can't tie you down to.
No, but can you get a rebuttal witness though? What about if the same person who was serving them that night?
Can't.
It's just up to the jury on that.
Because the question is based on what do you remember now today on the stand. Even if 2 weeks after the alleged incident took place, and she said that they bring in a quote unquote rebuttal witness that says, "Oh yeah, she told me," getting past the hearsay aspect of it. They bring a witness at 2 weeks after the alleged incident. She's like, "Oh yeah, she told me that she was, drinking, blah, blah, blah." She may have remembered it at that time, but the question is the day that she's testifying. And that's what's important. Do you remember right now today while you were on the stand that you did X, Y, and Z? I'm not sure. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. So that's not something that you can impeach them on. But then in closing arguments, you can say, well, how can you trust her judgment when she doesn't even remember how much she had to drink and doesn't remember whatever action she took, blah, blah, blah. So there's a way that you can spin pretty much any answer that you want.
Yeah, we're there. And I just got money in the bank.
Money.
Thank you. And panel, I watched your stream earlier today. I know what you mean. Kang gang, very funny.
Kang gang.
It is.
That's right. Kang gang.
All right. Yeah.
We know who ain't doing it, Dre. We know who ain't doing it.
Don't pay money to go on my platform and do these. Okay. If you need an explanation after we go live, when we end the live stream, don't leave, and I'll explain what he's trying to get at. Which I do not. Oh my god, we got more money coming over to side. Who you want? John Cena?
My money stacked fat, plus I can't turn the swell on. The franchise doing big business. I live
B. Smith with $4.99, and he says what Jonathan Majors says. He's representing Jonathan on the stand because he's not going to he's not going to go allow for a rebuttal witness. Jonathan Majors is going to say zip.
Zip.
That is a smart thing to do in this particular situation. There is no reason for him to take the stand in this particular case because he just opens himself up to all kinds of questions. Obviously, it's incumbent upon the state to prove its case, not you as the defendant to prove your innocence. And so there is no reason for that. Going back to that particular aspect, if he were to take the stand and say something that could lead to potential rebuttal witnesses, then maybe all these alleged victims that he's been brutalizing for the past 20 years would then open the door for them to come and testify. As that one particular guy that, Chill and I have discussed before.
A.B. Allen or Tim Nikolai, both of them.
Tim Nikolai, that's it. For those who don't know, Tim Nikolai is some dude on Twitter who basically said that it's been well known in, I guess, Yale, I think is where he went. It's been well known in Yale circles that Jonathan Majors is a quote unquote monster, and he's been brutalizing people for decades, yet and still nobody has come out in public and put their name to any accusation. So, you take that with a grain of salt, the way I look at it.
Absolutely.
Exactly. No need for him to say a word. No need to say about how, I treat my women great. Okay, well, let's talk about one of their other exes. And then that ex says about how he, I don't know, threw something against the wall or whatever else it is. He told me, Michelle Obama, he said, I got to be Cleopatra.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What up?
What's up?
Danny? Yeah, what's going on, Danny?
He came back and said, "Was nothing physical?" Yeah,
but he also said that the day after he tweeted it, except his Twitter was private. So for like a whole weekend, his Twitter was private because I guess he wanted to protect himself from replies. But even though you took it back, we didn't see you take it back. It pissed me off. It really pissed me off. But he was just the beginning. That's fine. That's just a guy on Twitter, right? When Variety did what they did.
Yep.
God. I need to read those just for entertainment. That's a live stream on its own. That'll be the next time we do a live stream.
It's crazy the amount of slander that Variety did on this guy, man. You know what I mean? Talking about all the other witnesses that they have and 40 unnamed people. I'm like, listen, if you're going to accuse someone, you better put the name out there. You know what I mean? If you're going to say that, you put someone's name out there. Not one person.
Not one to put their name on that bullet. Nope.
40 anonymous people. And look, right now, currently, there are women who are ready to testify. They just need that in, right? Okay, listen, if you want to do that, if you got a problem, you got a gripe, and you're going to be angry when you're not able to testify when this trial's over next week, file your own complaint. Go about it because you were ready. You were all prepared. So you have the outfit ready. You were about to go on stand and say, Jonathan is this and that. Class action. Every single one of you, team up, right? Everyone who was part of that Rolling Stone, team up, get after Jonathan for something that he did to you, if he did it to you.
Right.
That's the thing with, for example, Bill Cosby. When the Bill Cosby situation first started coming to light to the public, you had all of these women who were willing to put their name to allegations against Bill, even though these so-called allegations happened 30, 40 years prior to them speaking on it. Right? They were willing to admit or state that this is what this person did to us. And what the allegations were against Bill seemed to be more heinous than what Jonathan Majors was accused of. So how are these women able to come forward about something that happened 34 years ago, but you can't say something that happened 3-5 years ago? Obviously, everybody is different. Everybody's emotions are different. I understand that. I get it. But for me, at least, doing what I do, I take I'm not going to say I take exception, but I look at these allegations by these so-called other individuals with a jaundiced eye. Because if you're unwilling to go on the record, then I doubt your credibility. Let me put it that way.
Was that it? I think that was the live stream. I don't want to go any longer. I don't have much to add to this.
Because I'll just say this: we the minute me and Chill seen that article, we discredited it right away. First thing we said is that you can't tell me 40 people and not one. If you had one name up in there, I'd be like, okay, you know what I mean? At least you got one name out of the 40. But out of the 40, you got 0 names.
Nobody want to say nothing.
That's how is there any proof that these people even know who Jonathan Majors is? Is there any evidence that he actually even dated these people? Because you have a bunch of unnamed sources, and I take issue with that. It's about evidence. It's about proof.
Proving they exist. Well, we also don't have much evidence that he dated Steph. There's like one photo of them in Toronto. Really, he keeps.
Well, I mean, he will acknowledge that, I'm sure. Well, he doesn't have to acknowledge it, but we know that they were together, so that's not at issue.
We know that. You're right, but I'm just meaning to say that he doesn't go public. He's getting photographed a lot right now with Megan Good, actually. But aside from the Megan Good relationship, his prior relationships are pretty unknown.
Yeah, and that's that's a good thing, especially for somebody who has reached a high profile that he had reached over the past 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, and Pam reminds us. Let's put it in context. Jonathan at Yale, he was 150 pounds, not how he looks today.
Which means, let me just ask this: what does that specifically mean? Because Jonathan may have game. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we understand that today women are lusting after him, but that doesn't mean that when he was at Yale, he didn't have game or wasn't slaying that thing. So I wouldn't necessarily put the fact that he didn't look then the way he does today. I wouldn't give that much credence necessarily.
No, I think that's to the aspect of him being the menace that they claim him to be at Yale. Like, you being 100, you know what I'm saying? For one thing, you're a black man at Yale in the theater department. I think somebody put that up. Like, you're not an athlete or anything like that. I don't think they're gonna let that slide. I don't know if they letting this 150-pound black man terrorize
unknown dude anything
terrorize the theater troupe. I just don't see that happening. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I'm like, listen, when these allegations from Yale came out, he was like, nobody knew who Jonathan Majors was, so it wasn't be like a big thing to be like saying, hey, this guy is abusing us or doing that, or put some kind of charges on him at the time. You know what I mean? If
why
there's
would
so
Yale
many,
protect a nobody?
Right? Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And nobody knows that he's going to be as big as you may see. He has talent, right? You watch his movies, you could tell. I'm sure in Yale, they're probably, he's really talented. He's really good. But you still don't know what type of level he's going to hit when he gets to Hollywood. So why would you protect someone that's a nobody?
Or if he even gets there.
Right. Exactly.
I'm pretty sure they all got the same aspirations. They all trying to get to Hollywood. So I'm looking to my left, I'm looking to my right. You ain't no better than me. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So,
how many talented people are working at Starbucks right now?
Exactly.
For real.
And let me just, I may open up a can of worms with this.
Well, boycott Starbucks? Absolutely.
that aside, we understand that he was convicted. That has, to my understanding, been overturned. Talking about Bill Cosby. The allegations against Bill Cosby were leveled by a lot of different women. One of the things that I've always found interesting about that is that a lot of the alleged victims were white women. Okay, let's think about that. Bill Cosby was allegedly raping white women in the 1970s,
right?
Less than a decade removed from American apartheid. Bill Cosby in the 70s was not America's father. He was just some black comedian. Okay, he was not the icon that he became in the 1980s. So I just find it interesting that not saying that if he was doing this, because it's clear that he was doing something. My question is that I still have to this day is, was it completely against certain people's will because of the time period that we're talking about? Number
Facts.
one, Quaaludes were, to my
Facts.
understanding, the party drug of that time period, just like ecstasy and Molly is today.
Right.
So who's to say 30 years from now, Drake, Lil Wayne, anybody that you can think of who may have engaged in what they believe was consensual interactions with people who were taking substances knowingly and then engaged in behaviors under the influence, but knowingly, that now 30, 40 years later, you're trying to accuse them of a crime. This is not to discredit victims around the world, because there are a lot of heinous dudes out there who victimize women. Those people need to be held accountable. I will never say otherwise. But again, I have questions as to why a white woman in 1974 would not go to law enforcement and accuse somebody who was just a dude. Think about how Emmett Till was murdered just 20 years prior to this, to the time period that we're talking about, for allegedly whistling at a woman. But here you have a black dude who, although a star, he wasn't powerful. With all due respect to Jamie Foxx, he was the equivalent of Jamie Foxx in the 1990s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just...
So you're saying he wasn't...
Oh, go ahead, Joe.
That Bill Cosby wasn't an apex predator. At a $4.99, Richard.
Here's the thing. Me and Richard go back 30 plus years. Me and Richard went to law school together.
He looks better than you, though. He looks like a lot younger, honestly.
No.
Side by side.
That picture is 30 years old. I'm not saying that Bill was not an apex predator. I'm not saying that. He could very well be guilty of any and everything that they say that he did. From an analytical standpoint, I question the timing of everything and how what was and was not done at the time. Okay, and that's all I'm saying.
And I was going to say, I'm right there with you, because when you look at the time, like if you go back and you watch, they talk about the Lakers, and back in those days, all it was drugs. Everybody in Hollywood was doing drugs. Not only that, some of these women, and correct me if I'm wrong, were coming over to his house like 3:00 in the morning. You know what I mean?
But no means no. Let's be
no,
clear.
Absolutely, 100%.
No means no.
100%.
However, from a real world perspective, you know or should know that if you're going to somebody's room, what the intention is. But besides that, no means no, without question, without equivocation.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing, though, right? Right. Because even like you say, hey, baby, you want to come over? I got some alcohol here. Got some, you know what I mean? Come see me. You know what I mean? No means no. But if you're going over, I'm a man. I've done it. You know what I mean? If a girl's coming over at that time, she wants to see me as much as I want to see her, right? Now, not everybody may be like that. Like we said, we don't know if everybody else was going on or willing to do it. But at the same time, I think because it took so many years, that some of them just said, you know what, I'm going to ride the bandwagon. I really believe that. There may be some true cases in that, but I do believe that some of them, because I think it's Janice Dickerson.
We're way off track. Let's go Jonathan Majors. Richard says, Mark, talk about the shoe on the other foot test. What does that mean?
Basically, if this big, scary black man chased this little white woman for 5 blocks, what would we be talking about today? And I guess supposedly when he got out of the vehicle, she chased him for 5 blocks.
Yes.
So,
and they had angles on angles.
Right.
It looked like a movie.
Right. So,
Flavio, the cops who arrested Jonathan should be questioned for the arrest.
I'm surprised they haven't subpoenaed them.
They should be. I'm assuming, and again, I've not watched.
You don't need them though.
Trial, but you do want the.
We know these are known racists. Why the hell would you open and subpoena them? Come over here. Tell us about.
Let me finish. The prosecution would want to call the officers so they can talk about the demeanor of the alleged victim. You don't need 2, 3, 5 officers, but you need, you should have at least one of the arresting officers.
And what are they going to say about the demeanor of the victim? Yeah, she looked hurt. We need to take care of her. Yeah, what did she say yesterday on stand? Absolutely. She did look like she wanted to tell us, reach out for help. That's why we asked her 19 times. So you don't need no officers for that.
I mean, again, you know more of the facts than I do, because again, I've not watched it, but just talking from experience, these are the things that I have done on when I was prosecuting cases. I'm like, okay, I need this officer, that officer who could talk about the scene, who could talk about the victim of the case, et cetera, et cetera.
And how do those officers lean once they're under oath? Do they maintain their officer racism, or are they more? Is it easier?
Remember, they can perjure themselves too. That's what I'm saying. They're up there putting their badge on the line to speak.
You know what? I'm sure it has happened. I'm just unaware of it. But officers perjure themselves all the time. And I've never seen a situation where they have been held accountable. And that's something that needs to change. And that's something that's up to the prosecution's office to deal with that, to hold these officers accountable when they have been found out to have lied on police reports, who have lied on the stand. DA's offices need to start charging them. Or, there needs to be accountability for these officers when they do things of that nature.
Where can he get his reputation back? As you can see on screen is a caption. Is it a meme that I challenge you to caption? When he is innocent, I'm posting this. I'm sure. Anzo, remember the one I showed you on DM?
Yeah.
That one's getting posted. There's going to be a lot of memes that I'm going to be doing, making it. Everyone's laughing about Michelle Obama. Everyone's always laughing about the breakup of the school fight. We're going to laugh more. That's how he's going to do. We're going to give him his reputation back, because we're going to retweet everything.
Absolutely.
And it's a shame, because this particular year was going to be his year. And that's something that I'm always about, because January, February of 2023, he had the Devotion movie out. He had the Army, commercial. Yep. He had Creed. He had Ant-Man coming out. So this year was shaping up to be his year. And there's no telling how many opportunities that he's missed out on while facing these allegations. And I think it's a shame.
And the problem that I have is, even when he gets off, he's still gonna have those naysayers out there that'll be like, yeah, he's, you know what I mean? Like, they're always gonna be like that. Yeah, I think
they wouldn't even let the witnesses come on the stand.
Yeah,
that's why he won.
Yeah.
Tina's saying that she's got to go, but she's got to work on a video on her own. Yeah, yesterday she dropped one like at 3 a.m. So Tina's working. Go look at her YouTube channel to see what she's got to say also. And I think
I got a question.
We're not done.
If he is acquitted, what would be the next legal thing that he can do to
nothing.
I guess nothing. There's nothing he can do. No suing or.
Now, let me say this: if he wanted to drag this out, certain outlets who may have, put forth false allegations, he may have sued against them. I think it was, who was it? Cardi B sued some blogger who had
YouTuber.
It was a YouTuber.
Right. Now, if there's stuff if there's stuff like that out there, if he wants to deal with that, he may very well do so. But at this point, he may just want to put this behind him and go forward with his career, because that just keeps dragging this situation up.
Because I was thinking about, and I know Chill about to go ahead, Chill.
Yeah, I was just looking for the John Cena clip, because you know what? I got some more money in the bank.
My money stacked fat, plus I can't turn the swell off. The franchise doing big business.
Maybe I should never end the stream. M. Haka. Talk about how much trial prep she must have been doing with the family of lawyers.
But here's the thing: not all lawyers are the same. Just because you are a lawyer doesn't mean that you are a trial lawyer, or know how to trial prep.
But she's been having prep her whole life. The conversations at the dinner table, if she's spending time with her family, are ones that would make me like, hey, remember this thing happened in court? Honey, you wouldn't believe the case that I just had to win, or the trial talk, the court talk.
But see, that's my point. Not every lawyer is the same. Not every lawyer goes to court. Not every lawyer knows how to trial prep, because not every lawyer is the same. If you are, for example, a contracts attorney, you'll never see a courtroom, chances, So although I do understand what you're saying, not all lawyers are the same. not all lawyers are trial attorneys, and not all lawyers know how to prepare a case for trial. When I was prosecuting, I had a trial against this lady who had no business in a courtroom. She had absolutely none. And I told her, I'm like, look, tell your client if she wants to plead guilty, I won't say anything as far as punishment is concerned. She didn't do, well, I don't know if she did or didn't. Her client went forward with the trial. She was convicted and sentenced to some years in prison. But watching her try a case as a defense attorney, it was clear that she did not know what she was doing. So not all attorneys are the same. Not all attorneys do what you're suggesting, Chill, and have those type of conversations, because they may only be doing with tax stuff, not criminal law, not trial stuff. So just be cognizant of that.
Dylan's now saying, was it true she was calling him the defendant? And that's like very dehumanizing. He's not Jonathan. Think of this guy as the defendant. Nothing? We don't disagree?
I don't know if he did or didn't.
But if he would to do that, that would be the angle she's taking, to refer to him as the defendant.
If I were his lawyer, I would object to that and, instruct them not to do so. Because if again, I haven't been paying attention, but I thought I saw something where they agreed not to refer her as the quote unquote victim.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And so conversely, I would argue that he does not need to be referred to as the defendant, Jonathan, Mr. Majors, or my ex, but not quote unquote the defendant.
I think he's factually the defendant. That you can't get around that.
He is the defendant, but we're talking about words, because allegedly she is the quote unquote victim, but they agreed that they would refer to her as such. So
yeah, allegedly she's the victim, but he literally in this court for the parameter of the next 2 weeks, he is a defendant. That's his role.
That is absolutely true. But as his attorney, if I were, I would argue that he should not be referred to as such.
See, that's why you're a bad attorney. You're just a YouTube pundit.
Yeah, watch yourself. Watch yourself.
I'm not sure I saw an article where it stated that Steph was calling him the defendant.
Yes, I heard she was. Yeah.
Did you? Do you remember where you heard it?
Yeah. It was Danny said it. Yes. Yesterday, she said that was going on, and when she was talking to Dr. Hines, when she was on Dr. Hines' show.
So Danny's someone who was present during the trial for the first 2 days that Stephanie was testifying, and she's like she's the most credible person covering this, because she's not skipping the stuff that a lot of the media are skipping.
Man, they skip so much. I'm reading. I think it was who does people? Was that Vicky?
People is Emily Palmer.
Emily. But a lot of stuff in that was skipped. Even I'm like, why are they skipping? And the way that they preference the article, that's what you know what I'm saying? I don't even care about it. It gets to the point where I don't even care what's in the article. The way they preference it. Like, I think yesterday was it was Stephanie McMahon takes stand to talk about the violent night that happened. I'm like, what?
She was reduced to tears.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
I had preparation for this. It's like I was watching a Variety article saying about how, and then 911 was called. They wouldn't say Jonathan was the one who did it. It was crazy how they skip things. Hey, Israel Palestine. They'll always say that 1,500 Israelis have been killed and 10,000 Palestinians are dead. Wait, what about have been killed? Well, you guys are not using that language anymore.
Yeah.
The same thing here in America. Black folks loot, white folks acquire, things that they need to survive. So that was big during Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
They would show images of Black folks getting staples, not TVs, but food items, and the articles would be Black folks are looting. But then they would show white people in identical circumstances, and the headline would be, white folks are acquiring goods, blah blah blah. Just like a Black 15-year-old is a 15-year-old man, but a 24-year-old white boy.
In sports in Europe, the soccer fans are hooligans, as opposed to rioter or something else like that. Dylan, soccer, sorry, football, everybody. Dylan, absolutely. At least people little by little becoming aware of the agendas. What agenda? You can really tell who the media is siding with.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, stay tuned here. I'm going to be talking to Danielle about what she heard on day 2 also. Just because it's my channel, I want to do it for my channel because you know how YouTube is. I don't mean to say that you shouldn't look at Dr. Hines. I recommend that you guys go to his YouTube channel right now and hear what Danny had to say. But for me, I think I got a platform and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make it a video because you know videos work better than live streams work. So it'll be like a video, just have her talk for like half an hour. Expect that Saturday, and then expect more live streams and videos covering this case until next week, when I will probably never get legal again unless Chris Hemsworth, you know, does something to his woman and they got a you know, they got a video of her going to the club afterwards like she's perfectly fine. Okay. Subscribe to Chill. ATL Blurred, where can they find you?
Twitter, ATL Blurred.
Black Comic Lord's YouTube channel every Friday, Wakanda Whiskey and Blurdom.
Right. That is true as well.
He's like, right. Yeah, we still do that.
Blues House.
Yep. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of it. YouTube. Yep.
Earn my sub for covering this. Which one? Which one of us earned the sub? Which one of us?
We all cover it. I know. Hey, you get a sub too.
Biggaford Entertainment. He was just talking about Diddy as well yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Biggaford Entertainment. As you guys see, that's the name of the channel. Thanks for inviting me, Chill, man. It's always a pleasure to come in here and talk and chill with you.
Yeah, it is. It's always a pleasure, Biggaford Entertainment. You're my most... No, you're not. K-Dot is the most paneled.
Yeah, K-Dot always.
I'm gonna have to take his spot though. Don't worry.
You're not that far, eh? You could get him. You just got to show up more. That's all.
I will.